Why is everyone leaving Canada? YouTube is filled with people sharing their experiences about why they're leaving this country, and it is not limited to one group of people. They're both locals and immigrants alike.
We thought that Canada is a land of opportunity. It is safe, it has beautiful nature, and it has opportunities of economic growth. We know of so many people who have migrated to Canada recently, and the demand is still high because more people are going. But then why are people leaving?
So we went down this rabbit hole, right, and did so much research, but we were able to distill it down to 10 reasons as to why these people are leaving and whether it's actually still worth moving to Canada in 2024.
Stick around till the end because some of the reasons are very surprising. If you haven't seen our previous videos, then I'm Zenesta and this is my husband Nabeel. And last year we left Australia to do an adult gap year with our toddler, building our freedom-based business while we travel the world and most probably finding a new home for ourselves. Now you might be thinking, we are Aussies, why are we talking about Canada? But it is related because my side of the whole family lives in Canada and they have been living there for many years.
Plus we have a lot of close friends who live there as well. So we're heavily invested with that country.
And we have been to Canada multiple times and we will be going to Canada very soon in a couple of months' time.
We left Australia for our own reasons, but we have also found out that there is a growing trend of people leaving the West, and at the top of the list was Canada.
So without further delay, let's get straight into the 10 reasons why all these people are quitting Canada. First, let's get to one point straight. We are immigrants and we have migrated to a Western country. So we are all for immigration because we have seen the value it provides in terms of social and economic growth for the country and also for the people. Canada seems to have an aging population and therefore needs immigration to address the growing burden of social security spending. And right now, the annual immigration in Canada amounts to almost 500,000 new immigrants, one of the highest rate per population of any country in the world.
But from what we understood from all these people sharing their experiences, it's not much to do with the volume. It's more to do how the government has actually managed these intakes. You see, it seems like the skills assessment does not match with the skills that the people are actually coming in with. Also, the infrastructure of Canada has not kept up with these new intakes. And unfortunately, there are going to be people out there who are going to take advantage of this social disharmony. And overall, it just seems like it's just an absolutely unbearable thing for a lot of people, just the way the government has been managing all these immigration intakes. Unemployment rates in Canada has been high, although it has improved over the years, but you still have a catch-22 situation in terms of when it comes to immigrants. See, a lot of these immigrants come into Canada with no local experience, even if they have overseas qualification and overseas experience. So they end up taking any job which they are clearly overqualified for, underpaid, and then which ultimately impacts the tax ratio for immigrants within Canada.
So in essence, they're all stuck in this vicious cycle that keeps going on and on,
which is not serving anybody. Cost of living is extremely higher in Canada and people are really suffering. The inflation rates, even though the government has been able to control to a certain extent, unfortunately groceries and essential goods, including rent, has gone up by over 40% over the last 3 years. No wonder people have lost a lot of confidence in their ability to save money and build any kind of wealth.
Like the way people in Canada are feeling the increased cost of living, we did the same in Australia, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this adult gap year. Taxes in Canada is high. It is ranked 25th among the countries that has the highest taxes. Now, the other day I was having a conversation with my sister and she was talking about this new tax being implemented very soon. So that puts more pressure to an already stressed population.
So coming from Australia, you know, the rates that Canada has seems pretty good, right? Because in Australia, tax rates are actually much higher. So we completely understand, right? It pinches. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we left Australia as well. And it pinches even more, especially when people feel like they're not really getting much from the government. So yeah, it is pretty difficult to live in a country where the taxes are really, really high. People are spending a lot for their accommodation. Rents are through the roof, especially in cities like Toronto and Vancouver. The supply of properties is not keeping up with the demand, especially being pushed by these new intakes. And with rent, buying properties is getting really hard as well, especially in metropolitan areas. And a lot of young people have actually given up on the idea of home ownership.
Because in Australia, the property prices are so high, we weren't able to get any property around the city area. We had to go 50 kilometers kilometers away from the CBD to get a property for ourselves. And it's the same case in Canada too.
And that really impacts the quality of life,
Yes.
especially around, longer commutes and things like that. This point was shocking for us because one of the most attractive things about living in a Western country like Canada is safety. The homicide levels of Canada is the highest in 30 years, and there's a major drug and homelessness problems which has led to a lot of random attacks in even places like Toronto.
Like there's this particular time I remember one of my friends sent me a video in WhatsApp where these unknown people were pouncing on this lady who was just on the outside on the parking lot trying to put her groceries in the trunk, and they just attacked her, and she had a baby, and they just went into the car and they drove off with the car.
That one-off events do happen, but apparently this has become quite a big trend in Canada and people do not feel safe anymore. And also hate crimes against certain ethnic minorities have gone up. It's on the rise. I mean, those people don't feel safe either. So yeah, overall there's a sense of restlessness within Canadians, and it's really, really unfortunate. Canada is considered one of the best in the world when it comes to healthcare. It's ranked 25th, and citizens and permanent residents can access healthcare for almost free. But the problem is that the whole health system has been under so much stress that there's been massive delays, both in emergencies and just normal GPs as well.
I can honestly vouch for that because obviously I have my parents over there. I can genuinely feel with those people who are actually talking about this.
A lot of people migrate overseas and sacrifice a lot, including starting from the ground up because of the future of their children. But now a lot of these people are worried about what is being taught to them in schools, especially exposure of a lot of concepts such as gender neutrality to very young kids at a young age has been a big point of contention for a lot of people. Also, there's been immense amount of government overreach, including laws that a lot of people do not agree with, including locals. So people are overall not quite happy with this whole woke culture. So that's something that people are really uncomfortable with, and they want to leave that behind, and that's why they're moving.
Canadians in general are known to be very nice and polite, but a lot of these immigrants are complaining that it's very hard for them to make friends and really assimilate with the society.
With this influx of people and everything that's happening around them, society has really been stretched along political and ethnic lines, which has made this whole tension in the air, which made it really hard to make friends for people from all over the world.
You should celebrate diversity, differences of opinion, because only through that conversation we can see each other's point of view.
So yeah, overall I think a lot of complaints come from locals that these immigrants, they come in and they don't assimilate. But that's one of the things that people don't quite understand. It's not easy to assimilate. You got to put in a lot of effort, and sometimes when you already have so much other stress around finding jobs, progressing yourself economically, starting from scratch, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing at all. If you move to another country, you will really understand what we're talking about.
Weather is a very big thing. Now you can ask me, my whole family lives in Canada. Why am I in Australia? Well, of course, because of my husband, but one of the biggest reason would be the weather.
Yeah, it's known to have one of the harshest weathers in the world, where you've got almost more than half the year it's winter or winter-like conditions, where you've got to navigate through life, shoveling snow, driving through very dangerous conditions. So it's no surprise that people would want to go and live somewhere else where you've got much more sunshine, and it impacts your mood as well. I mean, a lot of people can feel quite depressed and anxious as a result of the weather. So yeah,
weather is definitely one of the main reasons why they want to move out.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
So there you have it. Those are the 10 reasons why people are thinking of leaving Canada or have already left Canada. Does that mean that Canada is no more a place where you can live?
Or move to, right? And it really depends on whom you're asking. I mean, there's no denying that Canada, still being a developed Western country, is ahead in a lot of quality of life indicators. And on top of that, you can't take away the fact that they have maple syrup and ice hockey. But one thing we can all agree on, that people are realizing that the world is big and life is short. So there's there's no point in being fixated in one particular place. If it doesn't serve us anymore, we have every right and the choice to move somewhere else where we would be much happier and have a better quality of life.
Australia has given us a lot, and at this point of time, we want something more. So that's one of the reasons why we have decided to do this adult gap year and really travel the world with our toddler and find a new home for ourselves while we build our own business.
Exactly, and for that we have created a comprehensive guide. It is absolutely free. The link is in the bio. If you are interested and want to do something like that, you can definitely check it out. It doesn't cost you anything. And we've also recently done a video where a lot of Muslims are also deciding to leave these Western countries and move to other countries. So we will link that for you as well in the description.
So I hope you found value in this video. If you did, then please subscribe to our channel because we'll be doing more videos like this, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
See ya.